Welcome! This devotional was brought to you by the You Need Faith in Jesus team. Today, we're going to dive into the powerful and, believe me, incredibly relevant message of Genesis chapter 6. It's a story about a world just spiraling into darkness and the amazing rescue that God provides.
That's a question that people have been asking forever, isn't it? In a world that feels just so chaotic, where do you find real, genuine safety? Well, as we're about to see, this ancient story of Noah gives us a timeless and, I think, really profound answer. Okay, let's get into it.
So to really get a handle on God's incredible act of salvation, you first have to understand just how bad things had gotten. This verse is a shocking diagnosis. It wasn't just about what people were doing. The problem went deeper. The very source of human thought, the imagination, had become completely and continually corrupt.
Yeah, the chapter kicks off by painting this picture of a society in total rebellion, and it all started with a catastrophic breach of God's created order. Now, this wasn't just a simple story about people getting married. The language here hints at something way more sinister. To really get the gravity of what's happening, we're going to get a little nerdy with the original Hebrew for a second, but I promise you, it is totally worth it. So, the term used here is B'nai He Elohim. This suggests a massive violation, where these beings left their God-given place, and they crossed a divinely set boundary. It was this profound act of rebellion, and, well, it led to a pretty fearsome and famous generation.
And these weren't gentle giants. The Nephilim, they were the mighty men of renown, literally the superstars of their day. But think about what made them famous: violence, power, and dominance. Their whole culture idolized raw strength and rebellion. It's kind of a terrifying reflection of our own world sometimes, isn't it? Where fame is so often tied to power and provocation instead of actual virtue.
Okay, so that's the world. Now, let's see how God responded. And it wasn't just a reaction to their actions. It was a response to the internal state of the human heart that was driving all this chaos.
Wow. This is one of the most stunningly emotional verses in the whole Bible. It just pulls back the curtain on how God sees things. But it also brings up a tough question. How can a perfect, all-knowing God repent? Did he make a mistake? Let's just sit with that for a second.
So here's the key. God wasn't changing his mind because he was caught off guard. The word repented here is the Bible's way of trying to translate an infinite divine emotion into human language we can even begin to understand. What it reveals is that our sin isn't just about breaking some rule. It genuinely and deeply grieves the heart of our Creator.
But right in the middle of this bleak picture of total wickedness and divine sorrow, there is a single sentence that shines like a star in a pitch-black sky, and it changes the entire course of human history.
But Noah. This is the great turning point of the whole story. And what's so incredible about this simple sentence is that it contains the very first mention in the entire Bible of a concept that would change the world. It's the foundation of everything.
See, Noah didn't earn his safety. He found grace. He was declared righteous, not because he was perfect, but because he received this unearned, unmerited favor from God. His obedience, all the things he did, that wasn't the cause of his salvation, it was the response to it. And that right there is the absolute foundation of the gospel for you and me today.
And God's grace, well, it wasn't just some abstract feeling. Nope, it came with a real, tangible, specific plan for rescue. He provided the way out. God literally gave Noah the blueprints for the ark. Salvation wasn't left up to human guesswork. And a huge clue to its deeper spiritual meaning is hidden right there in that command, to cover it with pitch.
Isn't that amazing? The Hebrew word for that pitch, kofar, shares the exact same root as the word for atonement, kafar. So just as the pitch covered the ark to protect Noah from the waters of judgment, the atoning work of Jesus Christ covers the believer, protecting us from the judgment to come. This symbolism is it's breathtaking. And it doesn't stop there. Think about it for a second. This massive vessel, big enough to save all of humanity at the time, but only one way in. The ark is such a powerful foreshadowing of Jesus himself, a divinely designed vessel of salvation with only one single door to safety.
So, the story of Noah isn't just some piece of ancient history for us to study. It's a living model for a life of faith, especially when our world feels just as chaotic. So, how do we apply this? How do we build our ark today?
Imagine it. In a world that had never even seen rain, a world that was probably mocking him relentlessly, Noah just obeyed. This wasn't a blind faith, it was an active faith.
His complete obedience gives us a practical framework for building a life that can stand up against any storm.
So these 3 actions are the practical nuts and bolts. First, honest self-examination. That means really taking time to pray, maybe even journal, asking God, show me what's in my heart that grieves you. Second, cultivate a daily walk with God. That means opening His Word and talking to Him, not like it's a chore, but like it's a real relationship. And third, complete obedience. It means trusting God's blueprint for your life, even when it makes 0 sense to the world around you.
It all comes down to this. Noah's story is a powerful reminder that from the very beginning, there's always been only one way to be saved from judgment, by grace through faith, by entering the vessel of salvation that God Himself has designed and provided.
That one door, Jesus Christ, is standing open for you right now. So the question this ancient story leaves for every single one of us is a deeply personal one. Have you entered in? Thank you for joining us for this devotional.